Happy New Year, Libra. Welcome to your January 2022 astrological forecast. Right now, a lot of planets are in Capricorn, okay, and where you have Capricorn in your chart is your fourth house of your home life, your family, where you physically live, though, and the property surrounding it. But this is like the people you live with, like a roommate or something like that, or again, your family, or even if you live alone, okay? It's also your personal life and your past, your childhood, okay? So the sun is in Capricorn, right, up until the 19th, and Venus is still here, okay? Since I believe November. It's been here for a long time. It's in retrograde motion, but turns direct on the 29th, okay? And let's see, there's a new moon here on the 2nd, and Pluto is still here and will be here for a few more years, and Mars actually moves into Capricorn on the 24th. So you have like all these planets in your fourth house of your home life and your personal life. So there's an awful lot of activity going on here right now. Lots of changes, I think, though, when Mars moves in here. Having Venus here, even like retrograde in a way, kind of. Maybe you were trying to make some kind of changes within your living arrangement or your home or your family or something, even if it's like if you have children, you know, maybe one of them start doing more chores or something like that, okay? So when Venus was in direct motion, everybody was like maybe possibly pitching in and agreeing to everything, and then when it went retrograde, people started slacking off or whatever, you know, and you kind of let it slide, you know. But now, when it turns direct again and Mars moves into this area, you'll be cracking the whip again. Whatever, just trying to get people to do what they more than likely agree to do within your home with the way you are living, okay? Having Venus here for that extended period of time, though, does kind of mean that a lot of your romance, you know, if you're involved with someone right now or if you're married, you have a lot more romantic times spent in a home setting. It doesn't necessarily have to be in your own home. It could be someone else's. And this is like watching movies, you know, dinner, having dinner, making dinner for someone or whatever. The Venus and Mars are the love planets, so both of them are going to be here like towards the end of the month. So Mars being like the big kind of like well, aggressor, okay? Mars is a very physical planet, and wherever it transits, it makes you like really want to get up and take action or do something, you know, change whatever, or put something the way you would like it to be. So that's what will more than likely happen when Mars moves into your fourth house here is a lot of times people do some heavy remodeling. You know, you're doing something with your living area. You're changing it in some way or other, okay? The new moon on the 2nd that occurs here could be when a lot of these things are at least talked about. You know, if you live alone, though, you don't really have anybody to discuss it with, right? So you could just be doing these things the way you want them done. You don't even have to check with anyone. But it could be the beginning of some kind of new setup in your home, you know, changing something or other. You know, it's been your whole living life, okay, your whole living area has changed since Pluto's been here, okay? There's been gradual or sometimes just very sudden changes in wherever it is that you're living, possibly. Maybe you have moved more than once, like within the past so many years, or you have revolving roommates, or, you know, it's like possibly never a dull moment. There's always something going on. But Pluto, though, does sometimes break down the family structure, Okay, so it could be a breakdown in that, even if it's just communications. Okay. Or family, your family history even. You could be checking into your childhood, your past, or even stories that you were told as a kid, you know, to find out a little bit more about them. But anyways, until Mars moves into Capricorn, it's still in Sagittarius up until the 23rd. And where you have Sagittarius in your chart is your third house of local travel and communications, regular postal mail, email, text message, voicemail. It's the written word. It's your voice as far as what you have to say. This is one of the houses of like the internet. Okay. It is minorly house of contracts. Okay. But this is also your house of your siblings and your cousins, your neighborhood, your neighbors, your everyday life, and the people that you would normally encounter throughout the course of your day. Okay, so having Mars here sometimes is almost like having Mercury here, because it does make you like a little bit more busier or than you normally are in your immediate area, or more contact with your neighbors or your siblings or relatives, you know, obviously because we're just coming off a holiday, so that is, you know, when you would be in touch with these people, right? The same time every year. Okay, the sun will be here at least, okay, in Sagittarius, so it coincides with your contacting people or you being contacted, okay, even if it's just like Christmas cards or something like that. But if there was something you were trying to change in your neighborhood, or something that you would like to be done about, let's say, even a business there, you know, this is when you're either writing a proposal or something and maybe giving it to, I don't know, whomever it is in your area that takes care of things like, you know, whatever, businesses or property or your neighbors. You know, it could be something even you and all of your neighbors getting together to change something in the neighborhood. Could even be in regards to, let's say, like real estate, okay? With, you know, planets being in Capricorn in your fourth house. So something more or less like that. But you could actually write something at this time. It could be a communication of some kind that is a little bit bold for you, you know. You could actually be speaking your mind, you know. I don't want to say telling the truth as if like you weren't doing that before, but you're getting a lot off your chest. So it could either be in writing or an actual conversation that you have with someone, okay? So the sun moves into Aquarius on the 19th, and where you have Aquarius in your chart is your fifth house, okay, of romance and fun, amusements of any kind, creativity, gambling and speculation, games and sports, the arts, you know, like going to a play or participating in acting or something like that, or painting or filmmaking or dancing, something or other. Okay, so the sun's here from the 19th on, and Saturn is still here. Both Saturn and Jupiter were here together, but Jupiter just moved into Pisces, so now all there is Saturn in your fifth house. And a lot of times with this placement, you get the feeling like you have a lack of interest in, let's say, romance. You know, it seems like more of a bother to you, or if you are involved with someone right now, even if you're married, it could just like be so boring to you right now, or in your mind, that's the way you're feeling, is like, you know, the person you're with, it is a real snore. Okay, I think I've mentioned that before. But they're stable, you know, they're reliable, you know where you stand with them. Or maybe you feel that they would never like cheat on you, or not have your best interest at heart, okay? Could be something like that, and that's why you stay, Okay, but whatever. Everyone has their reasons for doing something or other, okay? So Mercury starts off in Aquarius on the 2nd, okay, and actually turns retrograde on the 14th and continues to decline in degrees and falls back into Capricorn. So it's going to fall back into your 4th house. Again, you know, so there's like a lot of activity between your home life and the 5th house of creativity and romance and children. Okay, the 5th house is also the house of children. So maybe your child or someone else's child could be maybe a little bit of concern at this time, or maybe they're doing something like playing sports or whatever at school, and you know, you're attending their games or something, or maybe they're in a band, you know, and they're going to go off to band camp or whatever, you know. When Mercury turns retrograde here, though, you get a chance to kind of like change your mind about something. If you did have plans, let's say, I would have to say even a party, either you're attending or throwing one, a house party, okay? Maybe it's even someone's birthday or whatever, but you can change your mind about, let's say, like a collaboration that on something creative that you had or were taught in the talking stage of doing with someone else or a group of people. It might have been presented to you and it sounded like a really good thing, but now that Mercury turns retrograde, you're reviewing everything and you're like maybe changing your mind a little bit about it. You could more than likely put this on hold. You don't have to bow out completely. You know, because Mercury will turn direct, I believe, at the very beginning of February. So it's not actually that long. You could hold off, you know, just tell people, you know, you want to think about it just yet or whatever. Okay? So, let's see here. Well, when Jupiter left here, okay, when Jupiter left your 5th house, which by the way acted as like a buffer for Saturn. When they were traveling together, you weren't getting the full effect of having Saturn in your 5th house, okay? Now that Jupiter has moved, now you will actually like see what it's like. You know, all it is it's not a really bad house for it to occur in, okay? It's just a lot of like your speculation and stuff like that and risk taking. It probably doesn't go well, you know, or not the way you had planned it. Whatever. And again, like I said about romance, you know, if you aren't involved with anyone right now, you're just not into it anyway. It seems like more of a pain in the ass, okay? But if you do, you know, give somebody the time of day, they could be like an older person or somebody that's really experienced with the world. They're very mature, okay? That's what you're like attracted to, like for now. Doesn't mean that it'll be that way forever, okay? So when Jupiter moved, it moved into Pisces, into your 6th house. That's where you have the sign of Pisces. And the planet Neptune is already here. So I did do a video on Jupiter in Pisces, and I took into consideration that the planet Neptune was traveling at the same time with Jupiter, because it does make this transit like different, okay? Both of these planets, Jupiter and Neptune, are very spiritual planets. When they're together, they do really well, but it does, like everyone, no matter where this transit is happening in their chart, will have like a bit of spiritual outlook, you know, wherever, you know, house this is occurring in their chart. Like in your area here now, the 6th house is the house of the kind of work you do, the workplace, your co-workers, your work schedule, all this stuff, okay? It's also the house of health. I've mentioned, you know, many times having Neptune here that a lot of times you have hard to diagnose ailments. You know, nobody could ever figure out what's triggering you if you have allergies, and you go get tested and they say you don't have allergies. You know, nobody can figure out what is going on, and that's kind of like what Neptune does. It confuses and distorts in a way, like vision. Okay, not actual vision. I'm just saying, like, it's very hard to find out stuff. It's a very psychic planet, though, too. So you have to go by your hunches or intuitiveness. But anyways, this is also a time where you may have like a, well, maybe not necessarily this time, but just having Neptune here, you may have had like a bad reaction to drugs, even prescribed ones, or alcohol, and you definitely never want to mix those two together, even though some people do, and they don't end up like a vegetable, you know, like having a stroke that they don't recover from or whatever. But this would be definitely a never ever do that with this kind of placement especially, okay? But anyways, this is the house of service, okay? Service to others, among many other things, right? And that's where I believe, you know, something might come about. This is how this transit may play out in your chart, okay? Whereas what that means is people in your life, it could be anyone. It could be family, friends, neighbors, whatever. But they need your help for some reason or other. Okay, it's like a favor, but they need your help. They need you to do something for them. Okay, so in return, they do something for you. So it's like a 50-50 thing. And that's me saying that. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way that works in this house, but that's the way I see the house of service. Okay, because there's no reason for you to continually do stuff for people and not really get something out of it. In a way, a lot of times the very people that you are helping actually have people in their life like their own children that should be doing the very thing for them that you're doing, okay? But that person doesn't want to ask their own children because it's easier to impose on you, okay? So whatever. Okay, again, back to these two planets being very spiritual planets and very charitable. So you could be like kind of sappy right now. You know, somebody could detect that even in a way that you would be willing to help them do something or other. You're giving up, okay, you're being selfless, and you're giving up something, probably more than just your time. You're probably possibly taking on a hell of a lot of responsibility that really isn't yours. You know, if you really check, a lot of times the person that's asking you for this help has other people they can ask, but they hit you up instead. So why is that? Okay, there's usually a reason, okay, because maybe they knew you would say yes or whatever. But you have to take all of this into consideration. If somebody wants you to do something for them, and it's supposed to be like a one-time thing, but a lot of times because you did that once, they expect you to do it all the time. Something to keep in mind, okay? Now, okay, the planet Uranus is in Taurus in your 8th house, and it's been retrograde and finally turns direct on the 18th. And, you know, I've mentioned this before. Having the planet Uranus in your 8th house of other people's resources and money does mean that you could somewhere along the way be gifted with an inheritance of some kind, money of some kind. Somebody wants you to have something. They might not even know you. Maybe they know of you. Maybe you are a person that has the same interest that they have in something that's, I don't know, could be pretty esoteric. You know, not everybody has this same interest, and they want you to have something. Okay, let's say like if you were a musician and this person was a musician, but they had like a really famous guitar or something, and when they passed away, they really liked the way you played. They wanted that guitar to go to you, okay? because you would appreciate it and know its full value just the same way they did, okay? Whatever, that's just an example. But as long as the planet Uranus is here, and I've said this before also, you have to have Libra rising in order for this to in order for you to have Taurus on your 8th house, okay? So there's always going to be unpredictability, very sudden events happening in your life when it comes to money. Also, jointly held property, okay, that you would own with someone. In fact, that could be something that's possibly clearing up right now because of all these planets in your 4th house of Capricorn and your home, your family, and all this other stuff that's going on there. Okay, a lot of activity. You could be discussing shared debt with whomever you live with, or a spouse, a partner of some kind or other. Bank accounts, credit cards, jointly held, okay, that you're now separating, or you're now able to separate. Anything that you have possibly that you might own with someone else. And it could also, like I said, be debt. That, I believe, is going to start to clear up once this planet turns direct on the 18th. It won't be immediate, okay? It won't be immediate, but it will probably into February, I'd say. It really, you should see a little bit of a difference at least. Now, okay, there's a full moon on the 17th in the sign of Cancer, and where you have Cancer in your chart is your 10th house of your career, your public and professional life, okay, how you're known by reputation, both personally and professionally. It's how people view you and speak about you publicly, okay? So that occurs on the 17th. The 10th house is directly across from the 4th house of Capricorn and your personal life. So all that usually happens is around this time is something may happen in your career, okay, where you have to stop whatever it is that you're doing, meaning you have to put your personal life and your home life on the back burner to take care of something that's going on at work or your job or your career or something like that, okay? So that's all. You know, maybe you had time off, maybe you were even on vacation, but you were contacted about your work, you know, and some kind of like minor crisis or whatever occurred there that you have to stop whatever you're doing and taking care of, okay? So the best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Libra on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And the best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign, and your opposite sign is Aries, and those dates are the 8th, 9th, and 10th. The best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, any kind of gambling or speculation, and anything to do with children is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 31st. The best time for money is the 10th, 11th, 12th, 25th, 26th. The best time for your career is the 15th, 16th, and 17th. And the best time for communication and travel is the 1st, 13th, 14th, 15th, 27th, and 28th. So I would like to thank my subscribers for their continued support. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and click on the notification bell. You'll be notified each time I upload something. And check out my weekly forecast, and check out Ask Me a Question in the description box below. It's for people who only want to know maybe one or two things about their chart, okay? However, if you would like to have your entire chart done, okay, there's also a link there to my website, okay? And don't forget to check out my weekly forecast. Okay, so Happy New Year, you guys. See you next week. Goodbye.